I will make sure that I get my news coverage from a reliable source.
Hey players, good morning players, good morning players, all players, hey players, Musty, Marjorie, Frumpy Duck. This is incitement of an insurrection. They suspended her without explanation. This witness wasn't shown on camera because she was underage, and a spokesperson for Mayor Jacob Fry said to the motherfucking duck, and the mariachi band being placed outside of his house. This is Double D Momo, reporter for the Black Green News, where I'm black and the news is always accurate. Player, grab your teacup. It's time for Real Tea with Double D. Hey players, welcome to a brand new episode of the Real Tea with Double D. Of course, I am Double D, and we are on the GSMC Podcasting Network. So excited to be with you all tonight to record a brand new episode after 2 weeks off. I must say, I missed y'all players. I really, really did. I really missed recording my podcast, putting out some new content, but I have been doing videos, but I really missed coming here and doing my podcast. But hey, the weather wouldn't let me be great. And last week I needed to take me a breakity break, honey. You know, I have to take a note from Rachel Maddow. Now, of course, I'm not Rachel Maddow, but I will say that everybody deserves a break sometime. I hope everybody's doing okay out there in YouTube land and Facebook land and podcasting world. I will let everyone know that I am recording this episode live on my YouTube and Facebook for everybody out there in podcasting world. And for you YouTubers and you Facebookers, I will not be able to interact with you a whole lot, but I am going to try to speak with you because I don't want to make my podcast people feel uncomfortable. So I'll just remind you that I am recording this live, and this will be loaded tonight, and you can listen to it wherever you listen to your podcast. In fact, my podcast is available on Audible now, so I'm very excited about that. So you guys, I hope you all have been doing well. We're going to do something a little different tonight, and I just want to let you all know first to get your teacups, baby, because this tea is piping hot. I'm going to speak to everyone, and then I'm going to let you know that this brand new episode of the Real Tea with Double D is brought to you by God Ain't Petty, but I am.com. This is an apparel line. If you see the shirt that I have on, Pretty and Petty, this is from that from that company, and I can tell you that this shirt is very comfortable. And again, this episode is brought to you by them. So I want you guys to meet who they are.
Hey y'all, it's Jen, owner of God Ain't Petty, but I am. And I'm on my way to pick up orders. So here's me going to my shop. Thanks to all of the orders I've been getting, I've been able to move production from my house into a space that is near my house. And so this is where my team comes in to work. They fulfill all of the orders here. And speaking of orders, here were some of the orders that were completed over the weekend. And so I put the orders in my vehicle and head on off to the post office. And here are some of my fabulous customers. We call our community the Petty Pew, and they're just fabulous. So if you want to rock with us, if you want to join the Petty Pew, you can check us out at godaintpetty.com. And we drop a new $13 t-shirt every Thursday. So check us out.
So you all, that is Miss Jen's business, and she is in the building. Jen, thank you for joining us. I'm so excited to have her sponsor this brand new episode and show us her merch. I can guarantee you, honey, this shirt is very comfortable, and she has some very unique and wonderful designs. In fact, since I'm petty and accurate, I need a whole bunch of those shirts. You know what I'm saying? I really need a whole bunch of those. So I was so excited when she sent me several. I have a couple of these, and I also have a very comfortable sweatshirt. And what I love most is the $13 Thursdays, honey. To get you a nice comfy shirt for $13, and on top of that, it's fashionable. You can't beat that with a stick, honey. So she calls it the Petty Pew. So you guys make sure you go and join. And Jennifer, thank you so much for sponsoring this brand new episode of The Real Tea with Double D. I appreciate it. I will be playing that commercial again during the episode, just in case you guys missed where to contact Jen, but it's www.godaintpettybutiam. So let's support Jen. All righty, you all. Let's go ahead and move along here. I'm so excited to be with you all tonight. Hello, Facebook, and hello, YouTubers. I'm going to speak one more time before we get into the nitty-gritty of things. The first thing that we're going to be talking about tonight, and, you know, this news broke yesterday, and I actually held it for the podcast because I wanted to talk to you all about it, and I am so upset by this entire thing. And I really want to know what you all think about it. We have to talk about, if you don't remember, Laquan Mcdonald out there in Chicago. Laquan Mcdonald, I am so upset about what has happened with Laquan Mcdonald, as well as the police officer that was convicted of murdering Laquan. If you all don't remember, Laquan was shot 16 times. There's a very good documentary. It is available on Amazon if you guys aren't privy to what all the details that happened. But this case actually set precedent because that was the first time that an officer was actually convicted for murder. And you remember this incident, it happened like 2 years or so before the conviction. So I'm going to remind you all of his charges and what he was actually convicted of. Just 1 second.
We, the jury, find the defendant, Jason Van Dyke, guilty of second-degree murder. We, the jury, find the defendant, Jason Van Dyke, guilty of aggravated battery with a firearm, first shot. We, the jury, find the defendant, Jason Van Dyke, guilty of aggravated battery with a firearm, second shot. We, the jury, find the defendant, Jason Van Dyke, guilty of aggravated battery with a firearm, third shot. We, the jury, find the defendant, Jason Van Dyke, guilty of aggravated battery with a firearm, fourth shot. We, the jury, find the defendant, Jason Van Dyke, guilty of aggravated battery with a firearm, fifth shot. We, the jury, find the defendant, Jason Van Dyke, guilty of aggravated battery with a firearm, sixth shot. We, the jury, find the defendant, Jason Van Dyke, guilty of aggravated battery with a firearm, seventh shot. We, the jury, find the defendant, Jason Van Dyke, guilty of aggravated battery with a firearm, eighth shot.
So he was convicted, and he was actually convicted on second-degree murder and 16 counts of aggravated battery, Jason Van Dyke, and he was actually sentenced to over 6 years in prison. But he is scheduled for release on tomorrow. He is scheduled for release on tomorrow. He is getting an early release. I just, you know what? I just don't understand. And I wanted you all to hear the family's reaction to his actual sentence.
Today rough. These past couple of days are rough, to say the least. We're devastated. We're heartbroken. But we're not deterred. We're not giving up. We don't agree with the judge's ruling at all. We feel that what Jason Van Dyke did was shooting Laquan 16 times. He deserves to spend the rest of his life behind bars. That's something that's a consensus amongst the activist community, the black community, and most Chicagoans at large. Today we didn't get that ruling. Today we got something that we didn't expect to say. 81 months in the Illinois Department of Corrections. That's a slap in the face to us and a slap on the wrist to him.
So Jason Van Dyke was sentenced to 81 months, and he is scheduled for an early release on Thursday. The NAACP has gotten involved in this situation. They actually sent a letter to Merrick Garland, and they are asking for Merrick Garland to step in because and to actually provide an update on any federal investigation into what happened to Laquan Mcdonald. I'm sorry, I was about to say Kawan Charles. Laquan Mcdonald. So they are asking for any updates on that federal investigation. It has been since they announced this back in 2018, and there has still been no resolution, no updates provided, nothing on this situation. And so the NAACP said the lack of resolution in a nearly 6-year-old federal grand jury investigation convened in response to the shooting death of a young black minor, Laquan Mcdonald, coupled with the scheduled release of the shooter, disgraced former Chicago police officer and convicted Illinois state felon Jason Van Dyke. They are asking for some type of status update to see what is going on with that. You know, for someone to shoot someone 16 times, a minor, and then for them to get 81 months, that is disgraceful. But to have no action and no movement on the case since then, that's disgusting. And then also to have this person get an early release, someone that is obviously violent, for them to shoot someone 16 times. Did you hear me? 16 times Laquan Mcdonald was shot down in the streets, and they're going to let this police officer, Jason Van Dyke, get out of jail early. And we really need to beware. He really should not be walking the streets. It really should have never been an 81-month sentence. And I agree with the family. It is quite literally a slap in the face that he was even sentenced to that in the first place. He really should have gotten life in prison. He should have got 20 years to life in prison. And now you have him being in jail since 2018, and it's 2022, and now he's getting out of jail. I declare, honey, what a disgrace. I am so outdone by this, and I'm going to keep you guys abreast to any changes on that. Merrick Garland and the Justice Department, he hired a lot of civil rights attorneys. If you guys remember, he said that he was going to hire a lot of civil rights attorneys, and he did. So he definitely needs to step in and provide some type of update on this situation. When this guy walks out of jail, if he walks out of jail, he needs to be walking into federal custody, because this is ridiculous. So you could at least provide an update. What's going on with the situation? So they're going to let Jason Van Dyke out, and I think it's completely egregious. I really, really do. And my thoughts and prayers are going out to the family. And I will look and see if there's some type of change.org petition, or if there's some way that we can assist the family. But definitely one way we can do it is by raising awareness. So I will be making a video for us to share around regarding this. It's just so terrible, you guys. So we're going to go ahead and switch subject. All right, players. So y'all know what time it is. It's time for me to go ahead and update you all on COVID. Y'all know I give y'all an update on COVID and what's going on. And baby, the Omicron variant. And now I hear they got another variant that's making its arrival. I think it's called the Sleeth. I call it the sloth. If it becomes a thing, y'all know I'm gonna give it a name like I copied off everybody else. I just went behind everybody else. The Omicron variant, I called it the Omarion variant. I'm gonna call the Sleeth. I'm gonna call it the sloth variant. I declare, honey, what a disgrace. So on February 1st, the U.S. has exceeded 75 million COVID cases since the start of the pandemic. That's 1 million new cases in 3 days, 20 million new cases in the last month. I declare, honey, what a disgrace. So what everyone has been doing now is they have been pushing for people to get vaccinated. It's very important that people get vaccinated. You need to be triple vax so that you can decrease the chances of you getting sick and dying from COVID. Of course, we know if you get the vaccine, you can still spread COVID, but at least you'll be protected from getting deathly ill. There, at least 7 times more likely to not end up in the hospital and end up passing away. At least that's what the statistics, according to the CDC, says. And they may have changed since the last time I looked at them, honey, because I'm going to be honest, I didn't look at them today. But the last time I looked at them, which was about a couple of weeks ago, it was like 17 times less likely. So we have some news, some moving and some shaking with the U.S. Army. Y'all know we have, with the COVID vaccine, we have a lot of soldiers that do not want to get vaccinated. The military, the Marines, Air Force, and Navy. But the U.S. Army, they have made a stand and they put their foot down. So today, this came down today that U.S. soldiers who refuse to get a COVID-19 vaccine will immediately be discharged from the U.S. Army. Oh, yes, honey. The Army orders applies to regular Army soldiers, active duty Army reservists, and cadets, unless they have approved or pending exemptions. They said that in a statement, honey. The discharge order is the latest from the U.S. military branch, removing unvaccinated service members amid the pandemic after the Pentagon made vaccinations mandatory as of August 2021. So many people were speculating if the military was going to be offering any type of discharge. And I would think, but I'm not in the military, I would say if you get this discharged for not getting a COVID vaccine, that would be disobeying a direct order. I would think that would be a dishonorable discharge, but I don't know. I really don't know. They said that for the most part, the soldiers are getting vaccinated, but the vast majority of all active duty troops have received at least one dose. Roughly 79 uniformed military personnel across different services have died from the virus. So they need to get vaccinated, honey, especially with doing the things that they have to do. They definitely need to be vaccinated. And the Army, at least, is taking a stand and saying, hey, if you don't want to get vaccinated, you will be discharged. Now, the kicker is going to be whether they're going to be dishonorably discharged for not getting the vaccine. I don't think that that's a medical discharge unless you have some type of exemption that will prevent you from getting vaccinated, some type of medical thing. Like my son, he probably wouldn't be able to. He has a condition called G6PD, so he may be allergic to some of the active ingredients in this vaccine. So I don't think it would be a medical discharge. I think it will likely, but I can't say for sure, but I will be watching to see what happens. I'm thinking it's going to be a dishonorable discharge because it will be disobeying a direct order. That's a great question, Mandra. Thank you for joining. And also on the COVID-19 front, we have Pfizer. They're actually have applied. They actually did it today. They actually submitted their data to the FDA to receive their emergency authorization for the vaccine for children between the ages of 6 months to 5 years old. So they have submitted their data, which will be their clinical trials. That's the first step. And they're going to be pushing for vaccination. So here's the steps. I went ahead and looked this up, guys, because I really wanted to see. I'm very interested in this because, I have my babies who are 2 and 3. So I'm very interested to see how this is going to go. So they have submitted their clinical trials to the FDA. The FDA panel, advisory panel will vote. They are meeting on February 15th. After the FDA advisory panel vote, they will have the FDA authorization. and then the CDC advisory panel will vote, and this will be after the FDA panel votes, and then the CDC will make its recommendation, and after they do that, it will be available to the public. So if it's approved for emergency authorization, it will be available to the public. And they're saying that this could happen quite quickly. Again, the first meeting on this is going to happen on February 15th. So that's not far away. So maybe by the beginning of March or possibly mid-March, we will have that authorization. Of course, if it's approved, we will have that emergency authorization. Now, I heard a lot of people said that they're going to be getting their children vaccinated. I think that it's going to be a choice that everyone has to make. My son, again, has G6PD, has a blood disorder, a blood clotting disorder. I have to be very careful. So I will be, of course, consulting with the pediatrician to find out whether it is safe for him. And if it is, we will likely go ahead with it. My daughter, she doesn't have anything like that. So we will be getting her vaccinated. I just going to encourage everyone to talk to their doctors, find out the ins and outs, do your research, use reputable sources for your research on this vaccine, and do what's best for you and your family. That's what I will say for everyone to do regarding the COVID vaccine. But that is your updates on COVID, honey. I swear, 75 million cases. This COVID looks like it's never going away. And I'm going to say this again because I say it every single time we meet. Every single time we meet. I am sick and tired of the COVID-er. I am so sick and tired of the COVID-er. So I will say, let's go ahead and everyone get vaccinated and do what we got to do so we can create some herd immunity and get out of this mess so we can get back to real life. Because I am sick and tired of the fuck shit. I declare, honey, what a disgrace. It's time to move along. All righty. So we will be moving along here, and we have to talk about Oh, Whoopi. Oh, Whoopi. What happened, Whoopi? Child, this is a hot button topic. This here is a hot button topic, and I'm going to give y'all, I'm going to try to sum this up for y'all as best as I can. I did good on the video, but I'm going to kind of, talk about this a little bit more in depth. So, oh, Whoopi, why? So, you guys, what happened to cause this conversation? Of course, I believe it was about 6 days ago. It was Holocaust Remembrance Day. And right when there was Holocaust Remembrance Day, a book, a New York Times, a bestseller, a Pulitzer Prize winning book called Mouse. I have a picture of it here. This book is about the Holocaust, and a school board in Tennessee decided to remove the book from its 8th grade curriculum, citing rough, objectionable language and sketches of naked women they deemed unsuitable for 13-year-old students. So they actually banned the book. It will no longer be taught. They had a vote. It would no longer be used to teach about the Holocaust. They had according to the meeting minutes, there was a 10 school board member vote, and they agreed to remove Mouse from the 8th grade curriculum. And this was done right around the time that it was Holocaust Remembrance Day. So everyone was up in arms about this. And I'll tell you that it actually caused this book to return to the New York Times, return to the Amazon bestsellers list. This book has been bought a lot ever since the school board decided to ban the book. I actually, I'm going to purchase a copy of the book because I'm very interested in reading it, especially since I seen what Whoopi did. I think it's very important that we do have these type of conversations, especially if we're going to be talking about things of this nature. the Holocaust, we definitely need to know what we're talking about. And it seems that this Pulitzer Prize winning book does do this the Holocaust, the story of the Holocaust, some good, because a lot of people didn't know that there were 6 million people that actually died in the Holocaust, and that is covered in this book. So that's why it caused a lot of outrage for this book to be banned. But yeah, there were 6 million people that died during the Holocaust. You guys, I gotta sneeze. Hold on. Whew, bless me, Jesus. Okay. Anyway, so this book was banned. Oh, child. So this book was banned. So this caused Whoopi and The View to go, and they wanted to talk about the Holocaust in this book. And this is what Whoopi had to say about it.
Well, also, if you're going to do this, then let's be truthful about it, because the Holocaust isn't about race. No, it's not about race.
No, it's about a different race.
But it's not about race. It's not about race.
What is it about?
Because it's about man's inhumanity to man. That's what it's about.
But it's about white supremacy. It's about
but
going
it's
after
not. It's
Jews
not about
and
race.
Gypsies
But these are two
Romans.
white groups of people.
Well, they go after black people
see
too.
them as white people.
And they went
But you're
after
missing the
homosexuals.
point. You're missing the point. The
Yeah.
minute you turn it into race, it goes down this alley. Let's talk about it for what it is. It's how people treat each other. It's a problem. It doesn't matter if you're black or white, because black, white, Jews, everybody eats each other. So is it, if you're uncomfortable, if you hear about mouse, should you be worried? Should your child say, oh my God, I wonder if that's me? No, that's not what they're gonna say. They're gonna say, I don't wanna be like that.
Well, hopefully.
I want to be cool.
Yeah,
And
most kids, they don't want to be cruel.
No, they don't.
And we're living in an era where people are comparing vaccine cards to the yellow stars, where people are comparing vaccinations to what Anne Frank went through.
Yeah.
So it is necessary for kids to learn about the Holocaust.
It is very necessary for kids to learn about the Holocaust, just like it is very necessary for kids to learn about slavery. But I think the first thing that we need to do is educate ourselves. It's very important, especially if you have children. It's very important that you educate yourself about things like that, so they don't make statements that are insensitive. And that's the reason why we're in the predicament that we are in, because parents fail to educate themselves on things that they definitely should know, so they can teach their children, so that their children are not going out doing things that are just unbecoming, and saying things that are insensitive and hurtful. I think it's very important. So I think that book should definitely remain in schools. Kids see more sketches of naked women when they watch a movie. You know what I'm saying? So I digress on that. So Whoopi says this, and then there was some immediate backlash about it. So she issues an apology. She basically says she's sorry. Let me backpedal a little bit. So after this, they have a guest that comes on, and he kind of explains everything to Whoopi. And I think that Whoopi had a light bulb that went off that said, okay, this isn't about the color of one's skin. You know what I mean? Because I think that's what at least that's what I gathered from what she was saying, that it couldn't be about race, because these are two, in fact, that's what she said. These are two white groups of people. But what she's missing is, what she's missing about this whole thing is it wasn't about the color of their skin. It was about Jews supposedly have these features that this pure white person would not have. Like, they were basically trying to get rid of anybody that didn't look like the Aryan white man, which would be the blonde hair, the light hair, and the blue eyes. You know what I'm saying? So that's why these people were singled out. They weren't singled out because of their religion. They weren't singled out because of anything. it was more than just, they were sought out because of their religion, but it was more than just religion. And we have to take that into account. It definitely wasn't two white groups of people against each other. You know what I'm saying? In a sense it was, but at the end of the day, it was about this set of white people they had deemed to be inferior because they weren't purely white, I guess you would say. So after Whoopi gets this education, she goes on and she apologizes for the situation. And then she goes on to the Late Show and she apologizes again. And she kind of explains herself why she felt that way. And after watching that full segment, she pretty much says the same thing there, but she then apologizes and says that she understands now. So NBC, the CEO of NBC, announces later on yesterday night that they were going to suspend Whoopi for 2 weeks. And this has caused outrage. Meghan McCain had a few things to say, and Meghan McCain has said some completely outlandish things on The View, and she hasn't been pulled. She was never suspended during her time on The View. So a lot of people are giving this situation the side eye. Why Whoopi? Why would Whoopi be singled out to be made the example? You know what I'm saying? When you have situations where Meghan McCain has been completely racist. She has said things. I mean, she did racial appropriation every damn day with her hairstyles. You know what I mean? So I just don't know. A lot of people have been upset about that. And I must say, I mean, I can agree on one side and I can agree on another side. And I'm going to give you my sentiments. You know, I believe that Whoopi being, the host of The View, being a public figure, and I'm going to backpedal and pussy pop a little bit. Here's where I'm going to go with this. I'm going to say, before I get on my phone and I press that little red button and I make a video, I think about what I'm going to say. Now, I know The View doesn't have a script, and neither do I. It's really impromptu when I make these videos. But I know what I'm going to say before I get on there. Now, I know that she knows that they were going to talk about the Holocaust. She really could have done some more research or really made herself plainer, made herself more understandable. And she could have ran that by someone. She has publicists. She has a lot of things at her disposal where she could have, taken advantage of those things and said, you know what, maybe I should have, should I say this or should I not say this? As a public figure, and I'm not a Whoopi Goldberg, I'm just saying I'm always mindful of the things that come out of my mouth. And I have to be careful on the things that I say. Now, I think what she said, because there was a little bit of validity to it, I think that people would have been more receptive to it if she hadn't been so forceful in her thinking. Like she said, the Holocaust isn't about race. You know what I mean? She didn't pose it as a question. She posed it as a fact. And I think that's where it got jaded. And then on the other hand, I see the other side of the spectrum where people are saying, why is Whoopi being made the example? Why is Whoopi being made the example? Why wasn't Meghan McCain ever ousted for some of the shit that she has said all the time? I don't do the whataboutisms as far as, I'm not going to compare Fox News to The View. I'm not going to compare Sean Hannity or Tucker Carlson to The View. They go by a whole different set of rules over there. But I'm going to say Meghan McCain, when she was sitting behind that round table with them, she said some more egregious things. And I think things that were definitely facetious when she was saying it. So I think that she should have been held accountable if they're going to hold Whoopi accountable. It's like a double standard. You can't do that. You should have been holding Meghan McCain just as accountable as you're going to hold Whoopi for what she said, for making an insensitive statement. Because at the end of the day, when you make a statement as a public figure, not only do you have to think about the impact of the statement. You know what I'm saying? You have to think about the impact of the statement. And saying something like that, it could have been turned into a teachable moment if she had posed it as a question. She didn't pose it as a question, because they could have kind of talked about it. She posed it as a fact. And that's where I feel the situation where it gets a little jaded. So, players, I really would like to know your thoughts on this. It is a very hot button topic right now. They've been going back and forth about it on TikTok. Honey, Renstar has been, if you are on TikTok and you want to see some really good stuff about this, I would suggest going over and checking out Renstar. She has been dropping some dimes. I actually learned a lot from her today, and I am going to get that book, Mouse. I think it's very important, especially if you have children, to learn the truth about the Holocaust, because I'm going to be honest, I don't know a whole lot about it, but I did know that what Whoopi stated was not 100% fact, and I felt like she should have done a little bit more due diligence. And again, NBC, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. If you're going to oust Whoopi, you should have ousted Meghan McCain for some of the things that she has said in the past. So, players, I really want to know what you think about this. I mean, Whoopi, she will be gone for 2 weeks. Today, it's been rumored that she was very upset and that she was thinking about leaving The View and leaving NBC. Again, that is just a rumor. I cannot confirm that. That is just something I seen when I was doing a little bit of research. So I hope Whoopi stays. I hope when she comes back, they do a special episode about the Holocaust. That would be wonderful, and get some people on there. Maybe get some survivors, have them come on. I think someone on TikTok posed that, and I think it is would be a lovely thing to have people from the survivors of the Holocaust come and speak about their experiences, and also talk about that situation from their perspective. All right, players. So we're going to be moving on here, and we're going to be discussing, this is another hot button topic, honey. Scotus. Child, I didn't get to come on here and talk to y'all about this, but baby, these people have been showing their natural asses, and I declare it's been a disgrace. Ever since President Biden announced that he will be naming a black woman Scotus, these people have been losing their damn mind. So tonight, I had to make sure I use my RBG mug. That's the reason why I'm using it. I actually was going to wear my RBG shirt, but I couldn't because I had to rep for the petty with the petty pew. Speaking of the petty pew, let's take a look at that video one more time.
Hey y'all, it's Jen, owner of God Ain't Petty, but I Am, and I'm on my way to pick up orders. So here's me going to my shop. Thanks to all of the orders I've been getting, I've been able to move production from my house into a space that is near my house. And so this is where my team comes in to work. They fulfill all of the orders here. And speaking of orders, here were some of the orders that were completed over the weekend. And so I put the orders in my vehicle and head on off to the post office. And here are some of my fabulous, fabulous customers. We call our community the Petty Pew, and they're just fabulous. So if you want to rock with us, if you want to join the Petty Pew, you can check us out at godaintpetty.com. And we drop a new $13 t-shirt every Thursday. So check us out.
All righty. Again, this episode was sponsored by God Ain't Petty, but I Am, and you guys can visit them at www.godaintpetty.com, where they drop $13 shirts on Thursday, honey. I love it here. The owner, Jen, she's very nice, and they will get those orders out to you all expeditiously. I promise you that. All righty, so we're going to move on, and again, we're going to be talking about Scotus, the new potential. We have the potential right now to have the first black female on the Supreme Court, and I declare, honey, it's got these people in a rage. And one of the people that is enraged is none other than Freddie Cruz. Let's take a look at what he had to say.
The Democrats are so casually racist that they'll make that promise, and not only that, it ends up being insulting to African American women. There are black women who are very talented jurists who may well be the appropriate nominee, But when Biden starts out by saying he has a quota system, he diminishes the achievements of those African American women.
I declare, honey, Flatty need to go sit down somewhere and start worrying about his midnight flight to Cancun, because they got some bad weather coming into Texas. Prayers for Texas, y'all. They know they got some freezing weather coming in. Also, give some to Louisiana, honey, because, you know, Texas kind of overshadowed us. But I spent a couple of days last year during the Texas freeze without some electricity. So and then one of those days it was 3 days total. One of the days we actually went through like the blackout periods where we had electricity for a few hours and then they would turn it off, and then they would turn it off for a few hours and they'll turn it back on again. Baby, it was horrible, honey. But I'm kind of hood, baby. We turned that oven on. I ain't got time for the shenanigans now. It's sucked up in here with these kids without no electricity, but we still was warm though. I declare we got a gas stove, so I turned that stove on, honey. I had to do what I had to do. It was too cold to be playing around. So y'all send some prayers out to Texas, because they got that bad weather coming in. I think it's supposed to start tomorrow. So make sure you guys say some prayers for them. But Freddy Cruz needs to be worried about that. He need to stop. I didn't hear Biden say anything about a quota system. He just said he was going to appoint a black female SCOTUS. And there's nothing wrong with that. Out of 118, out of 100, let me make sure I got the number right. Out of 114 justices, 108 of them have been white men. And you mean to tell me out of all these years since 1789, there wasn't a black female that could have filled that position? It will never, ever cease. It will never, ever cease to amaze me that we are in 2022 and President Biden, he still has the first of any race to do certain things. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like Deb Hyland is the first Native woman, Native American, I believe, to be over something dealing with Native people. I can't remember what it is, honey. But I'm like, so you had white men over that? I mean, how do they know? I mean, it's absurd. It's really ridiculous that we are in 2022 and this is the way things are looked at. So if President Biden has to come out and he has to say, hey, it's going to be a black woman, I said what I said, argue with your mama, not me, then that's what he need to say. But you know what? He doesn't have to say that. You know who going to say it for him? Jen Psaki.
To pick a black woman for the high court. How do you respond specifically to Ted Cruz, who overnight called it offensive to black women that he would make that point?
Well, here's what I would say first. Just over a year ago, the previous president also promised to select a woman for the Supreme Court. Not only were there no complaints about choosing a nominee from a specific demographic from the same corners, but there was widespread praise of now Justice Barrett on those grounds, with Republican lawmakers widely highlighting that they thought this was positive for women in America. So take Senator Cruz himself. He had no objection to Donald Trump promising he'd nominate a woman in 2020. Repeat, no objection at all. In fact, he praised her on these grounds. The nominee. During her confirmation hearing, Senator Cruz said, quote, "I think you're an amazing role model for little girls. What advice would you give little girls?" When President Reagan honored his campaign pledge to place the first woman on the court, he said it symbolized the unique American opportunity. There is no outcry around that. The president's view is that after 230 years of the Supreme Court being in existence, the fact that not a single black woman has served on the Supreme Court is a failure in the process, not a failure or a lack of qualified black women to serve as Supreme Court justices.
She said what she said, honey. And I will go ahead and say, don't you love when Jen comes with a good old sake bomb? I just love when she comes with a good old sake bomb. She just makes makes my chest just quiver when she comes up, honey. She has to say what she said, and you need to argue with your mama and not her. And she's not playing with you. She is not playing with you. Look, she will say what President Biden, well, I ain't gonna say that President Biden won't say it, because y'all saw when he called Peter Dookie a son of a bitch. just get all tickled when I think about that. When President Biden called Peter Dookie, I'm sorry, y'all. I know it was in poor taste, but it was the best to me. I swear, I just wanted to go and hug him. I was like, look, that man done had enough. You got to stop talking to him is what you got to do, and go sit your ass down somewhere. That's what you need to do. I declare. So, but it's one more person that had something to say. Now, y'all, I really wanted to get this on video, but it happened at a private luncheon. Child, John Kennedy of Louisiana. I don't know why he embarrasses us like this. I am so sick and tired of him. So he says, not only did he didn't embarrass us, but he embarrasses us with some of the dumb shit that he says, like drinking weed killer. But I digress. So John Kennedy was at a private luncheon. Now, this is alleged. And at this private luncheon, according to Politico Playbook, it was noted that that John Kennedy said John Kennedy said that he rather John Kennedy said that John Kennedy said that he would y'all, I can't get this out, to be someone. Okay, he said to whom Biden has said will be a black woman, to be someone who now he says if it's a black woman, he needs the person to be someone who knows a law book from a J. Crew catalog, is what he said. And I know that he said this because this is something that he has said on the House floor. Basically, he's saying that the person, if they're a black woman, they wouldn't know a law book from a J. Crew catalog, is what they're allegedly saying that he said. I declare, honey, what a disgrace. I am not surprised that he did this, but it's just completely disgusting. And again, I saw a video where he actually said that exact same thing, not referring to a black woman, but he was referring to another situation and saying that, if you do something with such and such person, they won't know anything about it other than a J. Crew catalog. I declare, honey, what a fucking disgrace. So, but John Kennedy has got some issues. He really does. Like I said, he told us that he wanted to drink weed killer. Louisianians, if you are available, y'all need to sit up and pay attention right now.
Every 37 seconds, someone is arrested for possession of marijuana. Since 2010, state and local police have arrested an estimated 7.3 million Americans for violating marijuana laws, over half of all drug arrests. Black people are 4 times more likely to be arrested for marijuana laws than white people. States waste $3.7 billion enforcing marijuana laws every year. Most of the people police are arresting aren't dealers, but rather people with small amounts of pot, just like me. I'm Gary Chambers, and I'm running for the U.S. Senate, and I approve this message.
That doggone Gary Chambers. Baby, he broke the internet last week. He is running for the U.S. Senate, and I'm going to go ahead and say, if you are not in Louisiana and you want to support him, make sure you go and support him. I'll definitely be voting for him. I am in the state of Louisiana, and I will definitely be supporting him. I think that he is perfect. If y'all don't know the history of Gary Chambers is a powerhouse. You hear me? I have seen him at different meetings getting thrown out of school board meetings. I remember that video that went viral where he called out that lady, like they were trying to remove it was a school down in Baton Rouge. I think that was named after a Confederate soldier or something to that effect. And they was trying to change the name. And one of the people was sitting behind the desk as they were supposed to be having a meeting about this. And it was Gary Chambers' turn. And he got up there, honey, and he had been watching one of the board members the whole time. Child, this woman was sitting up there on her computer shopping while these people were coming up there pouring their hearts out about how this school having this name really affected them. And this woman, and Gary Chambers got up there and called her ass out. It was so bad that woman had to walk out of there. I wish I would have found the video for y'all, but I didn't have time. Baby, it was epic. You hear me? So if you are in Louisiana, you need to support Gary Chambers. If you're not in Louisiana, you can always donate to his fund, because I'm telling you, honey, he would do a really good job. I actually like Gary Chambers. He just went to California last weekend. I have been watching him. He just went to California last weekend, and he met with some marijuana dispensaries and all that kind of stuff. So I'm very excited to see him on the ballot. He lost, I think it was a representative spot, but he's very, very good, child. So players, y'all know what time it is. It's that time. Players, it's time for another riveting episode of Play Stupid Games, Win Stupid Prizes. Oh, players. I am so excited about this, about tonight's brand new episode of Play Stupid Games, Win Stupid Prizes. And the winner is Tweedledee and Tweedledummer, Musty Marjorie and the Privileged Pervert. I declare, honey, what a disgrace. So y'all know, I don't know if y'all been paying attention, but y'all know the numbers for the FEC filings are coming in for the quarter. You've been seeing a lot of people that the money that they've raised, like their donations and all that stuff to their campaigns. You've been seeing a lot of people, they've been getting praised for the amount of money that they have been receiving. I don't know why that is a thing. I really think that it is the stupidest shit. And it's a way for people to fleece and grift and also get jaded by the people who are donating to them or donating to them for the wrong reasons. A lot of these mega donors, they do that to control these politicians, but I digress. But a lot of them have been making money. But I'm going to tell you who haven't been making money. Tweedledee and Tweedledummer, Musty Marjorie and the Privileged Pervert. So y'all know Musty Marjorie and the Privileged Pervert launched Put America First. That was their pact that they launched last year in the last quarter of 2021. And this thing has not made any money. In fact, it was negative $94,838.65 at the end of the year. The only time that it collected any money was the first few months. I declare, and the PAC's only contribution in the last 3 months was a $18,922 transfer from the Privileged Perverts campaign, and it appears to have been necessary to pay off the PAC's final outstanding obligations, according to the Daily Beast. Y'all know they was booking these lavish venues, and these venues was closing down on them. And then when they would finally get somewhere to go, it would be a lackluster turnout. So they didn't even make no money. I declare, honey, what a disgrace. I would have been so ashamed if that was them. I would have been dismantled that dumbass shit. I declare, honey, what a disgrace. They definitely played a stupid game, and they are the recipients of the stupid prize. I declare, honey, Musty Marjorie and the Privileged Pervert. What a disgrace. I agree. 2 of the dumbest members in Congress. We only need to add Lauren Bobblehead. Go ahead and stick Lauren Bobblehead. You know, it's a few I'll put in there with them. John Kennedy is one of them, hell. So make sure y'all support Gary Chambers. Players, I hope y'all enjoyed this brand new episode of The Real Tea with Double D. It was very fun being with you all tonight, and very big thanks to our sponsor, God Ain't Petty, But I Am. Remember, they have a $13 shirt. Tomorrow is Thursday, so make sure you guys go and check them out. Very comfy shirts. Y'all see how I'm moving and grooving over here. So I would like to send a very big shout out to Jen for sponsoring this episode. And I want to thank every last one of you players for joining me out in Facebook and YouTube land. And you guys make sure you thumbs up the video on YouTube if you're listening there, and also love the video on Facebook if you guys are listening there. If you would like to listen to this podcast later, make sure you guys check out this podcast wherever you get your podcast. I'll have this up in the next maybe hour or so. It will be available for streaming. So you all, I'm so glad to be here. I'm so happy to be here, and I'll be back next Wednesday with a brand new sponsor and with some brand new tea to spill. I am so excited. I hope that y'all enjoyed this. I'm trying, it's really been kind of hard without, well, not hard. I would say being on camera, because I really don't like being on camera, but I said I got to do this. And then I tried to add my new cute little thing. Did y'all like my little thing? Before I go, I just got to ask, because if y'all don't like it, I'll take it out. Do y'all like this? I thought it was cute. I made it myself. I thought it was cute. I said, well, I didn't pour the tea, but anyway, but that's the way I'm going to segue into my next segment, so people could know I'm moving on to a next subject. So anyway, you guys, thank you so much for joining. I hope that y'all like the show. I hope y'all would join me next week. And if you have a small business and you would like to sponsor an episode of The Real Tea with Double D, make sure you hit me up in my inbox, or DM me on Instagram, hit me up on Facebook, or you can email me at tiffanycjones85@gmail.com. Make sure you guys come and hit me up if you have a small business and you would like to sponsor an episode of The Real Tea with Double D. I don't do I would love to have you here, so make sure you send me a DM if you would like to do that. You guys, thanks so much for joining, and I hope y'all have a precious night. And remember, make sure you keep it petty but accurate. This is Double D Muffle for the Black Accurate News.
Hey y'all, it's Jen, owner of God Ain't Petty, but I Am, and I'm on my way to pick up orders. So here's me going to my shop. Thanks to all of the orders I've been getting, I've been able to move production from my house into a space that is near my house. And so this is where my team comes in to work. They fulfill all of the orders here. And speaking of orders, here were some of the orders that were completed over the weekend. And so I put the orders in my vehicle and head on off to the post office. And here are some of my fabulous, fabulous customers. We call our community the Petty Pew, and they're just fabulous. So if you want to rock with us, if you want to join the Petty Pew, you can check us out at godaintpetty.com. And we drop a new $13 t-shirt every Thursday. So check us out.